Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. We are excited to be here today. Should be a big show. Got some big stuff to discuss. We're going to be introducing my new friend I met at a Health Freedom Conference down in Dallas for NHF, Daniella Morrow. Daniella performed down there. Beautiful, beautiful voice, like just crazy, crazy beautiful, and wonderful, wonderful musician. You know, working up that ladder and doing great things. And so we're going to introduce her today, and I hope people support her and back her. And then we're also going to be talking a little bit about Trump. So the left is losing their mind right now over Donald Trump. Donald Trump is defying the SCOTUS, according to the left, according to the mainstream narrative, and it is an outright lie. It is an absolute outright lie. And I see this, it continues to trend on Twitter, but it is not accurate. He is not defying the SCOTUS. Now, there's a couple low-level district judges that are crooks that he's kind of, thumbing his nose at a little bit, but they don't have authority. The other thing to know is that you got to understand something. President Trump is the president of the United States. That means that he is a co-equal member of the branch of the government to the SCOTUS. The SCOTUS is not in charge of the president, nor is the president in charge of the SCOTUS. Neither of them have to listen to each other. Both of them need to respect each other. And so where there's a disagreement, there's that has to be dealt with. But Trump is not defying the Supreme Court. That's an outright lie. It's just not true. So we got that going on. We'll talk about that. Letitia James is getting referred to the DOJ as she ought to be. It looks like she's going to be going through some criminal trials coming up, and she thoroughly deserves it. Remember when she wanted to declare war on the president? She was going to go to lawfare on Donald Trump, the unethical misuse of lawfare against Donald Trump by this crooked AG. And guess what? What goes around comes around, and I got to be honest with you, it just tickles me to death to see her dealing with this. This woman is garbage and a crook. With the things that she's done are just horrific. All sorts of other things going on. We got a lot to talk about today. Like I said, we're going to start out with our new friend Daniella, and then we're going to move into some of this other stuff. But in the meantime, please support us. GiveSendGo.com/Renslaw. GiveSendGo.com/Renslaw. We need you to become a monthly supporter. Your support keeps us fighting, keeps us going. We appreciate all that you do. And then also make sure you're checking us out, TomRenz.com. Go to TomRenz.com. You go up here, you go to shop, you click out our partners and affiliates, scroll down. You, of course, always check out Kirk Elliott, check out Sat Phones. Our new guy's Dulce Sweetener. This is good stuff, by the way. Made from monk fruit, doesn't have any of the poisons, just really, really good. We got our Sherry's courses. I love Sherry. But scroll down today, Cardio Miracle. I love Cardio Miracle. I use it daily, literally. Has a big impact. I'm glad to be an affiliate of theirs. I'm glad to promote them. These guys do a great job. Their product is really good. It helps on so many levels. So many good things in there. You know what? It's worth just having a subscription to these guys to have a regular. I do. I literally use it every single day. You get a big bag. It lasts forever, by the way. Their bigger bags really have a lot of servings in there. So I've been surprised. I initially got a big bag when I started this, and they just last forever. But really good stuff. So make sure you're checking them out. My friend Sherry introduced me to them. Sherry Tenpenny, quality products. So check out Cardio Miracle, and without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to our new friend, Daniella Morrow. Now, Daniella is an advocate for health freedom. She's a musician. She is just an awesome human being in general, and has one of the prettiest voices I've ever ran across. So I'm glad to have you here. How you doing, Daniella?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. Thank you for that intro.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Well, I mean, like I said, I was pretty blown away when I was down at the conference, and every now and then, depends on the conference, they'll bring in entertainment or this, that, and other for dinner and stuff like that. And you came out there, and man, you just blew everybody's socks off. You got this huge, powerful, just beautiful classical voice. and you just it just kind of blew everybody away. I was uh, to to hear you and to see you.
You kind of broke up we're in a lot of meetings and conferences, so kind of broke it up a little bit.
Well, it was listen.
Very
I'm
good.
not saying that people enjoyed listening to you sing more than me drone on about mRNA, but when I look
Oh,
out and I'm lecturing, people are like this.
no,
Oh yeah,
no.
when you were doing it, everybody was like, fully focused and paying attention. It was wonderful. So
You just have to be really, really loud. Just keep them awake.
uh, that's what it is. Let's start carrying an axe or something, just slamming
Yeah.
it onto the stage or something. Anyways, but so Daniela, I just want to show everybody. I want to just like right away show everybody. So this is, by the way, this is Daniela's website, and she does I mean, classical, opera, Italian, like all sorts of cool things. She even does the Italian thing, right? So, like, I can barely speak English. She's singing in Italian. That's kind of cool. And let me play this little clip. So, you guys know this song from Greatest Showman. This is the Italian version, and we're just going to do a little clip from it. But for anybody that doesn't, the Never Enough song. I don't remember. I know the redheaded chicken there sang it, and yeah, she had a
Mm.
huge, powerful voice, and man, you really, I mean, you really did this justice. So here you go, just so everybody can hear why I'm excited. I think that is absolutely beautiful. I literally, I literally just think that's beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
I appreciate. I mean, man, God gave you some serious talent.
Hmm.
So how do you find out about this? How do you wake up one day and be like, yeah, I'm a kid growing up in California. Yeah, I think I'm going to get into classical opera, yeah, maybe some Italian. And how does that happen?
It's very interesting how it happens. I think it's an accumulation over the years. I mean, I grew up loving music in every shape and form. Um, my parents are both very musical. They both listened to really great music, quality music. Like I said, my father was born in the 30s and my mom was born in 60. So I had that wide range of different genres that I was always listening to.
Yeah.
And they both would sing to me all the time. And at around age 5, I started taking piano lessons. So that was something that I really wanted to do, was start taking piano. And then from there, about 9 years old, I started doing some musical productions, theater productions. But I was very shy as a kid. So that was a big part of like overcoming the shyness was a big part of this, because even in the theater productions I was like, I don't want to audition. I just want to be in the background. I want to be on the ensemble. I don't want anybody looking at me. I don't want
Uh,
to be the center of attention. um
Love it, but I don't want anybody to know I love it.
yes, exactly. It's like I just want to be in it, part of it, but not the center.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a big part of like it influenced me a lot. Musical theater till this day, I love musical theater. But yeah, so it's sort of, as far as when I was younger, it was something I was always drawn to. Like I couldn't get away from it. And so at about age 19, so I'm 31 now, but at age 19, I began to take voice lessons. And something just, I say something clicked in my brain, but I really know it was God telling me, like, you know, you really love this. Just give it a shot. I had to get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I was even shy with my first couple teachers who were teaching me.
Yeah.
But I finally, I broke through that shyness, gained a lot of confidence. Confidence is a big part of it. And then I always wanted to learn different languages, even from when I was little.
Yeah.
I'm still getting there, but I discovered a woman who did sing in about 10 or 13 different languages, and I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, well that's like a way in of learning languages." And so now I sing in, Italian, French, Spanish.
Huh.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
language. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing, and it's beautiful, and it's an interesting thing, I mean, so you not only have like this incredible talent, but as I mentioned, a health freedom thing. So you it's crazy, right? So you got someone who is got all these talents, but is in something that's traditionally kind of left coast, left this, left that. But you're open minded. Actually, you're a big health freedom promoter. You are someone who, and I'll let you tell the story. But you were homeschooled. You're unvaxxed. You're from beginning to end, just all the things that we in the health freedom movement, like you really are kind of the poster child for everything that we love, and you're a beautiful singer. So I mean, it's a wonderful thing. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, I was homeschooled. Oh, I guess I should start with I was born at home. I was born at home, and even that was something that, by Western medicine standards shouldn't have happened because
No.
my mother, she had two C-sections prior to having me at home naturally. And that's something that you just, that's like a no-no according to Western medicine. You
Yeah.
can't have a natural birth after you've had two C-sections or one C-section. And it was because of my father. He our business that we run, Common Sense Products, here in LA. He started it in the 80s and 85 because in the 70s he had prostate cancer, and he didn't like that. They couldn't give him a reason why he had it, and why are we gonna do all these things to get rid of it if you can't tell me how it came to be. He
Don't
was
know where it came from. How do you gonna, I mean, what, you're gonna fix it? How are you gonna fix it if you don't know where it came from?
exactly, how do you fix something that, I mean, you're saying it's broken, but you don't know how it got broken. It's doesn't make any sense, you
Yeah.
know. And my father was a very forward-thinking person for his time, I guess you could
Yeah.
say. He always asked questions about everything. He never fell in line with what anybody said. So, he was with the doctors and he said, I fired my doctors that day. I went and played tennis, and then I went and I searched out herbal solutions. And he grew up in a farm in Kansas, so farming and herbs was part of his growing up. But yeah, after about 3 days of taking herbs, he felt better than he had after a year with the doctors trying to figure out what was going on, because there was an issue going on for him.
Yeah.
But he began to feel better, and he was like, there's something to this. And he really got into studying about herbs, became an herbalist. And yeah, 85, since 85, he established his own line of products, herbal products. So I grew up in that
And what's the
mindset.
name, just so people can support you? Because I want people to support your family's business, and
Yeah.
also, make sure that everybody, please make sure you're going and supporting Daniella Morrow.com, DanielaMorrow.com. Make sure you're supporting her. Make sure you're checking her out. And then also, where's your family's business?
Yeah, so we're in Torrance, California. We're out here in Torrance, California. It's called Common Sense Products is the name of the
Okay.
company. Yeah, so
Well,
we've been me and mom are holding it up now, where we work together. And yeah, so I just, in growing up only really knowing herbs, that's that was my upbringing. Like you mentioned, I never have had any shots of any kind. If something was going on with me, I would pretty much automatically know what herb or many herbs I needed to take or
Yeah.
apply on my skin, or something going on. So yeah, and then again, my father being very forward thinking suggested my mom being homeschooled, and she was like, I'm not a teacher. I can't do that. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But she saw not just with the schooling with the kids in the past. She could see the disconnect that kind of happens when your kids do go to public school, and she also saw the effects of the amount of vaccines she gave her kids before, because she was married previously. And so she was like, you know what, let's give it a try, let's see what this is all about.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything was very holistic for me growing up. Everything was very home based.
Well, you survived.
I survived, and I'm normal, and I can socialize.
And you can sing.
And I can sing.
There you
So
go.
there we
There you
go.
go. So,
Yeah.
so where are you? So, the process of becoming a musician, right? So, I mean, we just heard the clip. Obviously, you got the talent.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's without saying. So, but the process of becoming a known musician, it's tough. It's brutal. I mean, you're pushing, you're pushing, you're pushing, and it's not always the best man wins. I mean, we can listen to. Well, we just saw a great example. I just saw Katy Perry pretend she was getting off of a rocket ship, and I mean, she's super well known, and I mean, I don't talent wise, I don't think you guys are in the same league. So but that doesn't determine that's not the only determining factor in success in music and elsewhere, stuff like that. So talk to
Yeah.
me a little bit. So you decide that you're going to do this, you get your vocal coaches and stuff at 19 years old. You decide you're going to break out and kind of become this and go after it, and you've been chasing it ever since, working with your mom to support it and fighting to get this going. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's definitely a journey. And it's something that does tend to be a common denominator with other artists too. You hear somebody that they break into the business after sometimes 20 years, of working really hard. I think, I mean, again, there's so many layers to it, but because of the world of the internet and social media, that has been helpful. I will say it's a good
Yeah.
tool to use as an independent artist, because you can get out there to people and create an audience easier. Not to say it's easy, because it is not easy, but there's less need for the middleman of like a really big label to get you
Yeah.
out there. It's more in the artist hands now. Um, and even that has changed the game for getting signed to a big label. But it's something where you definitely have to have a love for it. You really have to have a love for it, because that passion for it is what keeps you going forward, because there's times where you are questioning your
Yeah.
sanity. You're just like, why do I keep doing this? And then you're like, oh, because I love it and I can't get it out of
Yeah.
my system. But no, I mean, as far as for myself, like I did mention, I started at 19. It was right before I turned 20 that I decided to take voice lessons. And a big part of it was gaining
Mhm.
confidence. My teacher says it's some percentage along the lines of it's 10% talent, 90% confidence. And I think that is really applies to a lot of things, because you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't feel confident in yourself and also come from a place of being very truthful, um, people can see
Yeah.
right through that. People can sense that. So that was a huge factor for me. Once I gained my confidence and started getting out in front of people, because that alone was the most terrifying thing for me to do. um, that gave me more strength, and again, the courage to feel like I can pursue this. So it's just really a matter of getting work, literally putting yourself out there, being very vulnerable, and not being afraid of rejection. Easier said
Very,
than
very
done.
much so.
You will get a you'll get a lot of no's. You will get a lot of no's, but and I think if your goal is to make it very big and maybe sign with a big label, you do have to have very thick skin because it is a very strange
Mm,
industry. Um, so my goal is never like I need to be the biggest thing out there. Obviously, I want to make a really solid career from it, but I'm not looking to be a celebrity per se. I just want to create really impactful art, and it has a message, a powerful message, and yeah, just to get out. Since I sing in different languages, I love different cultures, so that is something I would love to happen more, is to be able to reach more people across
yeah.
the globe and travel with it. Because I think there's something very beautiful about this community that comes together with
Well,
music just
well, it's an
naturally.
interesting thing, because yeah, people know that I'm probably one part Viking, one part Sasquatch, and so they're a little surprised when I say things like this. But I really do believe I'm a huge fan of music, huge, huge fan. I listen to music as often as I can, and when I'm sitting here at 3 a.m. by myself, writing, working, whatever, there's usually something playing in the background,
Mm,
and yeah, there is no better way to bring people together. It brings people together. It gives people an opportunity to come together on something important. And I think it's a very big deal. And it's something that I think is, yeah, a huge thing. So it's a laudable goal that you have there. And, I think
yeah.
also one of the things that you said that was really important to me, and I want everybody to hear this, right? So to make it big in music, you come to points where you're asked to sell out who you are, what you stand for, what you believe in. And to get that big deal with that big label, you're typically asked to give up who you are, what you believe in, and what you stand for. And one of the things that I really admire about you is you've got a dream and you've got something that you're standing for and something that you're fighting for, and you're not willing to give up the principles behind that dream to be the big celebrity. So what I heard you say a minute ago, and I'm going to try and paraphrase this, and you tell me if I interpreted it right, because I thought it was very, very wonderful. Um, I want people to know my work. I want to have everybody, I want it to have an impact. I want to do it, but I'm not willing to sell out to do it. So whether that makes me a celebrity or not, I'm still going to keep going. And I think that's kind of one of that's the mark of a true artist, someone who actually loves it. And it's something I admire a lot.
Mhm.
It's something that I got from you. So everybody knows, we were at the National Health Foundation's conference, and I was speaking there in Dallas. Which, by the way, Charles Frohman, Scott Tibbs, these guys are great people. I love these people. If you don't know them, you should definitely check them out. But I'm down in Dallas, and Daniella sang, and afterwards, I wanted to say hello and to tell her that she did an amazing job. So I had a few minutes to chat afterwards with her, and the impression I got was that this kind of genuine soul who is willing to really kind of stand in her principles and to do her thing as an artist. And it used to be that being an artist meant that you would stand for something, because typically artists will stand behind their work, they're this, they're that. But we've become a kind of culturally, it's a shame, because within the realm of art, I think so many people, to make it big, you got to have big promotion, big this, big that, and so many people are willing to sell out what they stand for that. And it's
Yeah.
again, we just heard what you do. I just played a clip. Nobody's going to tell me you don't have as much talent as anybody. So what we got
Mm,
to do is, we the people, and for people who, and I want to urge people, if you hear Danielle and if you liked what you heard, and look her up, go to daniellamorrow.com. If you like it, if you like, support her, share it, hit share. Everybody says, "What can I do?" Well, you can hit share
mhm.
when you find someone who's willing to stand on principle, who's a good person, who's like-minded. I mean, Daniela supports, as you could hear from her stories, health freedom. Um, Back her, help her get the word out, for God's sakes. I mean, it's not, let people hear her music. So and that's the reason.
Yeah.
When we met, and I said, well, I'd love to have you on the show and stuff like that. It's like, I'm not the biggest platform in the world, but we do okay, and we got a number of people that like us and support us, and we got some of the best people in the world that support us. I'm so grateful for the people that back us. But um, it's like whatever I got, I just want to make sure we're paying that forward, right? So you see someone like you who's out there with amazing talent, amazing this, I want you to be successful. If you can be the biggest thing, since Whitney Houston, that's great because we need people like you
Dang.
to do that. Um, so you've performed in a few different places and have done a few different interesting things. You got some great videos. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, thankfully I've had a lot of great opportunities, honestly. Um, as of lately, the past so many years too, been very involved also in like the Italian community, with the Italian music that I sing, and they've been very welcoming with open arms. So I've sang for quite a few different events for the Italian community within the city of LA, and different parts of Los Angeles. But yeah, I sing all over. I sing, a lot of wineries, resorts, of course, galas, like you saw me at
Yeah.
the gala, and I mean private events, all kinds, weddings, you name it. I'm doing them. And then I did release my album about 2 years ago now, so that was also really great. It actually got received really well, so that was exciting. Um, so yeah, just working all the different avenues of being a musician, because like I said, with social media, that is a big part of it. Um, and it was amazing because around the time when I did release my album, the community of people from all over the world, literally, like Europe, Africa, India, how they just sort of flock to it. So, how we are talking earlier too about community with music, that really showed me, it doesn't matter what the
Yeah.
language is, if you connect with it, it's
Yeah.
powerful.
It
It's
is. It
really
is. It's
powerful.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
I was always surprised because, well, I'll listen to music sometimes in a foreign language, and it's amazing to me when it can really hit you or strike you when you don't necessarily know what the
Yes.
words mean. But it is possible.
Hmm.
It does happen. So, um, Daniela, where else? How else can we support you? What else can we do to back you? What can people do to promote your work? What can you give us on that?
Yeah, definitely. I'm on all the social media platforms. I'm on, you know, Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Amazon Music, everywhere, and more places than that.
What's your handle? Give us some
So
handles.
oh, Daniella Morrow
Okay.
official, Daniella Morrow official, and then I have my album. I have physical albums, which I know some people don't have CD players anymore, but I have the album on my website as
Okay.
well.
Are you available
So
for
yeah,
digital download at all?
I am. It would be through Amazon or
Okay.
iTunes
Okay.
Music
So they can find you there
download.
too.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
is there a website for your family's business? Is there a place that people can support you there?
Yes. Yes. It's commonsenseherbs.com. Common
CommonSenseHerbs.com.
Sense.
Okay. And folks, we're not affiliates. There's no sponsorship. I just want you to support Daniela. It's wonderful. We've got to promote our people. We got to promote people who stand with us in ideals, on principle, and on these different things. Daniela's doing that. She's done that. She's got the talent and everything we need for her to be a rock star. We just need to support her in doing that. So,
Mhm.
Daniela, I'm honored to call you a friend. And what I'd like to
Yes.
do
Me
is,
too.
like I said, remind me. I sent you a little note in the chat. Make sure that you remind me to make some connect. I want to make a couple connections for you. I don't know if they'll help or not, but I want to try and do that. And if there's anything we can do, please come back again. We'll come back. If we do, maybe we'll
Yeah.
do like a telethon or something. Have you come and sing or something, because that'd be awesome. Um,
That'd be
yeah,
fun.
because
Yes. Yes.
you're an incredible talent. So, um, I
Thank
appreciate you
you.
being here. You got anything else you want to hit for us before we jump?
Before we head off, no, I mean, I appreciate, like you mentioned, the support is always helpful for independent artists. It's how we keep going. And then as far as on the herbal side, I'll say what my father used to say. It was his slogan: is growing old does not make you sick. It's growing sick that makes you
I
old.
love that.
So
I love that.
yeah.
That's kind of true,
Yes.
and I think I've got both. Anyway,
Ah,
um,
oh
anyway,
no.
all
Thank
right.
you.
Well, Daniela, thank you so much for joining us. God bless you in your work, and please just continue to inspire people with that beautiful voice you got.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
having me.
Well,
Thank
you
you
have
so
a great
much.
day,
God
and
bless.
thank you. All right.
You too.
Um, Daniela Morrow, I listen. We got to support people like this, folks. We've got to support people like this. We got great talents, beautiful people who do amazing things on our side, and ultimately, we succeed as a movement when we help each other grow, when we have each other's backs. That's a big deal. So, I want to urge you all to consider supporting her in any way that you can. Like I said, I think her voice is absolutely beautiful, and it's just a great talent. So, all right, let's move into some other news because there is a lot happening today, and I don't think there's a better spot on this planet to start than Letitia James because this just makes me happy, and I shouldn't be so happy to see someone else's peril, but I am. So this woman is a wench. She abused her position. She abused her power. She used her position as an AG to promote herself in a way that she thought was going to be a win. She went after Trump for some of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. All sorts of just paperwork type transactions, just nonsense. And they weren't even good cases. They were garbage. But yet she did it. She continued to push it. Well, guess what? Turns out that she is now going to have to face the same sort of pushback as she gave to Trump. So while she was excoriating Trump over some paperwork that really was nonsensical, it turns out that she had apparently and allegedly falsified records to get better loan terms for her property, which is very similar to what she accused Trump of doing, even though, her case was kind of garbage. And it looks to her that she may have actually committed fraud in this. So now the DOJ will be looking at whether or not Letitia James committed mortgage fraud. And I can't think of a person who deserves to be investigated any more than Letitia James. The thing about it is, don't throw rocks if you live in a glass house, right? She's held herself out as holier than thou and this, that, and other, and gone after Trump and everything she could. Nothing but a political hitman. She really was an embarrassment to lawyers. She was, in my opinion, the unethical use of lawfare was absolutely absurd. And you know what? I hope she ends up in jail over this. I find her behavior appalling. I find the fact that if she is guilty of mortgage fraud, I hope they go after her with both barrels. It's absolute garbage. After what she did with Trump and everything else, um, it's just unbelievable. I mean, she actually uh, claimed that she was married to her father on some paperwork to get better rates. That looks like mortgage fraud. And so this is really crazy. So you got falsely claiming a Virginia home as a primary residence, and then living there while serving as New York AG. You've got the issues with the paperwork. I mean, this woman looks like she's going to go down uh, in a hard way, right? Jonathan Turley, who I'm kind of I like Jonathan Turley's stuff a lot of times. Yeah, he's a pretty straightforward, smart lawyer. But it says, no matter how, he says in his tweet, quote, no matter how big, rich, or powerful you think you are, no one is above the law. Those words of Letitia James may echo loudly this week as James finds herself the subject of a criminal referral for alleged financial fraud. Well, fraud is a big deal, folks. Fraud is jail time, and it ain't short jail time. So we'll see what happens with Letitia James, but I got to say it couldn't happen to a finer woman. So we got that. Now, here is some real irony for you. And I'm going to get to Trump in the Supreme Court. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But I want to go into this one real quick. Okay. California is suing the Trump administration over tariffs. Now, California just asked Trump for money to fill in the gap on their Medi-Cal because they gave all their money to illegals. And then at the same time, they're going to sue him over tariffs. Is Newsom a moron? How dumb is this guy? Why would you sue Trump over tariffs if you need money because your state's bankrupt? How the hell does that work? I got to tell you, folks, I hope Trump cuts it. I hope he doesn't give them a dime. I hope California can't afford to pay its bills and goes bankrupt. I hope that happens, and I hope that Newsom. I mean, this guy is such a moron. It is insane. It is insane. I'm going to go and ask you for help right at the same time that I'm going to sue you. Newsom is a moron. He's a leftist lunatic, and it's just insane. He just he wants $2.8 billion for Medi-Cal bailouts, and he wants help for the homeless crisis, but he's going to sue Trump. What a moron. Anyways, a whole bunch of other things, but I want to, before I get to those, I want to get into this. So the SCOTUS thing, and this idea that Trump is somehow defying the SCOTUS, because Trump is not defying the SCOTUS. That is a lie. It is a leftist lie. It's not true. Let me tell you what's happening here. So Trump gets sued, as usual. And they say, what's the deal with Trump throwing these guys out under the Alien Enemies Act? And the court says, yes, you can throw people out. The Supreme Court hears this, and they say, yes, you can throw people out under the Alien Enemies Act. But, there's a but, right? Now, before I tell you the but, Trump gets the win in the sense that the court says, yes, you can throw people out under the Alien Enemies Act. Pam Bondi immediately goes on to Fox News to tell everybody how big her win was, except for she didn't bother to read the case, I think. It wasn't a win at all. The court said, yes, you can throw people out under the Alien Enemies Act, but every single one of them has the right to due process. They have to be given an opportunity to object in the courts, right? Okay. That is a real issue. Okay. So then the result of that is we've got, these issues going on. And then this leads to this Abrego Garcia guy, right? This Abrego Garcia who was deported to Venezuela. Okay. So you get a judge then that rules, no, he's got to come back because he shouldn't have been thrown out. So the Democrats are advocating for gang members, illegal alien gang members, Tres de la Agua, all these guys to be brought back. They want to bring back criminal illegal aliens to the United States. The Democrats are willing to die on that hill. Think about that. Well, meanwhile, there's a couple things happening. Now, one of the things happening is J.D. Vance has said, this ruling that we've got to give all these guys full due process. This is a disaster. And so he suggested that the enforcement of due process might need to be reconsidered because of the number of illegals that came in under Biden. How are you going to get rid of all these guys? If we have to do them one case at a time, the judicial system will be shut down for years. They won't get anything done, right? And he's right about that. This is a really big deal, right? And he's right that the legal system simply cannot handle that. There's no way that it's got the capacity to get all those cases done. It won't. It just won't work. There's only X number of courts in the country and X number of judges, and there's millions of these illegals, millions. So, and God knows how many of them should be deported under the Alien Enemies Act, right? So this is a huge issue, and he's right. Essentially, that ruling that Pam Bondi ran around and told everybody was a win was a major loss, because now Trump's not supposed to just boot these guys. What's going on with the Garcia guy? This is a very, very big deal, because what we have happening is he was deported, right? He was a gang member, deported under the Illegal Aliens Act, and it was a debacle, right? So we don't know that's gonna. Yeah, we don't know where he's at right now. Maybe they know he's somewhere down in El Salvador where he belongs. He's not in this country. So a judge rules and says Trump has to, and this is a district court nobody, right? A district court's a very important role, but this guy's trying to control the president. You have a district court judge, not a Supreme Court, not anything, just a district court judge trying to control foreign policy of the United States. And he says that Trump has to facilitate and effectuate the return of this gang member. This goes up through the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court rules that that Trump should facilitate, but he did not say effectuate the return of this gang member. Okay, so this is a big deal, right? Because now the left is saying that Trump is ignoring the Supreme Court because Trump is not bringing this guy back. And he's not. He's not. So this comes down to this. Now, saying Trump's ignoring the SCOTUS. Now, I want to start with a number of different things. I want to approach this from a number of different directions. First of all, Trump, you got to understand that the Constitution is very clear. Foreign policy is controlled by the president, not the Supreme Court. They have absolutely no say over foreign policy. They have nothing to do with foreign policy. The only thing they can do is determine whether or not Trump's foreign policy is constitutional. But the Supreme Court, not the district court, is a co-equal to the president. Right? They are equal. Now, the district court, Supreme Court, yes. There's a debate on where the district court should be on that, and those sorts of things. But not the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, it's quite clear, co-equal branch. Co-equal does not mean in charge. The Supreme Court doesn't get to tell the president what to do. The Supreme Court doesn't get to order the president around. The Supreme Court doesn't get to. They're just. They can voice their opinion, but there's been a number of instances in the past where the president has said, I just don't think so, to the Supreme Court. And you know what? The Supreme Court has no choice but to tolerate some of that. Now, the check on the president's power is Congress. Now, if the president is ignoring the Supreme Court, and he's wildly wrong on this, then the check on his power is impeachment. The Congress can impeach the president. If what the president's doing is more questionable, Congress won't act, which means the president wins that argument. If the president's wrong on that argument, so it ends up being 2 out of 3, right? It's 2 out of 3 wins. If Congress, if they support the president, he's fine. If they support the Supreme Court, the president goes. In this case, Congress is not impeaching President Trump, and they're not going to impeach President Trump. We have a Republican Congress, and even if we did, there wouldn't be enough to actually get him out of office, because it doesn't matter. What Trump did is not illegal, and he did not ignore the Supreme Court, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But there is first of all, something we have to recognize. You don't get to, because you're the Supreme Court or some little weenie district court judge, tell the president what to do. Now, if I walk into a district court as a lawyer, then that judge has the supreme control of his courtroom, and I am at his as well. And so that's where his authority is. His authority does not extend to determining foreign policy for the president. That is absurd. That is absurd. So, anyways, arguably, the courts didn't have authority to do this anyways. Enter the Supreme Court, which, you can say what you want about these guys. They aren't dumb. Well, I mean, there's certain people I might ask questions about, but Roberts, for example, is not a dumb guy. And the court made a 9-0 ruling, but that 9-0 ruling was critical. And it was critical because of one word, okay? The district court that originally ruled on the case and said that Trump has to bring this guy back, said that he had to effectuate the return of this gang member. Okay? Now, effectuate means he had to make it happen. The Supreme Court did not use the word effectuate. And this is really important, and it's a critical component of the law. They used the word facilitate, said Trump had to be willing to facilitate it. Now, effectuate means that Trump has to make it happen. Facilitate means if this guy's coming back, Trump should make it happen. Okay? And here's why this is important. The Supreme Court is acutely aware that words have massive meaning in the law. And interpretation of the law is based only on the words there as written. This is a principle of interpretation when it comes to the law that's well established. The Supreme Court knows that they do not have foreign policy power. They cannot order the president how to conduct foreign policy. This gang member is gone. He is in El Salvador. Okay, he's not there. If he were in this country, then you can argue that the Supreme Court's got a little more authority over what happens. But right now, he's gone. So for the Supreme Court to tell Trump he had to effectuate the return meant that they would have had to step across the line of the separation of powers, and they would have had to impose judicial power on foreign policy, which is clearly unconstitutional. They don't have authority to do that. But they didn't. They changed the district court's word. They got rid of effectuate and they used facilitate. And what Trump's crew has said is, quote, the Supreme Court made the ruling last night very clear that it is the administration's responsibility to facilitate the return, not effectuate the return. That is as clear as day. The Supreme Court did not, could not, and would not have missed the difference in the words. No way on this planet the Supreme Court missed that. Now, what the Supreme Court was saying is, yes, we all believe that you have a duty to ensure that these people have due process. That's why J.D. Vance was speaking out about the due process. But the majority was quite clearly aware that they do not have foreign policy control, and they cannot order Trump to create some sort of an international foreign policy crisis. Because remember, El Salvador doesn't have to give this guy back. We don't run El Salvador. He is now in El Salvador in their control, and he is not an American citizen. We have no authority over this guy. None. And the Supreme Court can't order Trump to leverage his foreign policy authority and power to do this. It could create a war. It could create all sorts of things. Now, you may say, yeah, but Trump is just wink, wink, nod, nod, working with the president of El Salvador. That may be true. But it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. At the end of the day, Trump is in charge of foreign policy. This guy is not an American citizen. He is in the hands of another country. We have no authority over them. And if they were to say, hey, we want to send this guy back, Trump is, under the Supreme Court's order, required to provide a plane to give him a ride. Maybe they just send him an airplane ticket. But what he is not required to do is to put pressure on, work towards, or do anything with El Salvador to get them to release him. So that is a very, very clear thing. And this guy's out of luck. The Democrats are lying through their teeth. They are lying through their teeth. He is not required to bring this guy back. And can you imagine how tone deaf and stupid you must be as a Democrat to say, I'm going to go down to El Salvador and check on this guy, which is a violation of the Logan Act, right? So they're saying they're going to go down there and check on him and try and force El Salvador to release him to the U.S. Well, they don't have authority to negotiate on behalf of the U.S. And as has been so frequently pointed out by the Democrat left, that would be a violation of the Logan Act. So these idiot senators go down there. I hope Trump charges them. I hope he charges them with violation of the Logan Act. I hope he puts them in jail. Oh, every one of them. It's ridiculous. These just double standard garbage people they're just trash. So anyways, this whole thing is a lie. It's not true. Donald Trump has no duty to do anything other than facilitate this guy's return, right? It's as clear as can be. Originally, the order at the district court was to facilitate and effectuate the return of Abrego Garcia, the gang member. And the SCOTUS said, no, just facilitate, not effectuate. So now Trump has said that also that, listen, even if we have a duty to give this guy due process, he doesn't have to be in the country to do it. We got the paperwork. We can put it there. We can have his process. You want to run through another hearing, we can do that, right? But this is really a very clear thing. Now, the district court judge is, of course, jumping up and down and having a tantrum over this because there's a leftist who is just trying to be an activist, and Trump just told him to pound sand. And that's ongoing, right? And that's just, it is what it is. This district court judge is kind of getting put in their place, and I got to be honest, I don't feel overly terrible about it. It's just something that probably needs to be done. But yeah, this is continuing, and going to continue. These courts are going to have to be reined in, and this was a very narrow interpretation of the ruling by Trump, but it's absolutely legitimate. And unless the court wants to really overstep and get into the business of determining foreign policy, there's nothing else they can do. And I'm guessing if this goes back to the SCOTUS is going to say, no, we told you what we said. I don't think they'll take it again. I think it'll be exactly what it is. I don't think they'll accept another appeal. So, facilitate the return, okay. But Trump has made it real clear. And in this case, unless the Supreme Court wants to kick off a real constitutional crisis by stepping totally across the bounds of the Constitution, the separation of powers, and stepping into, directing foreign policy, I don't think they're going to do anything more, right? This is about as clear as day. It is what it is. So it's the left is mad about it. The left is having a fit. They're lying about it. They had to dig someone up. They dig up some leftist law professor the government put him there. Government can get him back. Sorry, guys, it ain't going to happen. Rubio and all these guys have been very clear. They came out and spoke and said, nope, president's in charge of foreign policy. You guys are up a creek. So, it is what it is. It is, this guy was here illegally. He was apparently tied and involved with these gangs. And, now the question of whether or not people deserve due process before being removed is another question. That does deserve some discussion, right? Because what if you do have the wrong person, right? What if it turns out that you take someone who is not an illegal even, and you try and deport them, and they don't really have an opportunity to challenge? That could be an issue, and that's part of the reason the Supreme Court came down as they did. But understand that, folks, that's not what's occurring here. You got a guy who was, by any and all accounts, an illegal and a gang member and a security threat, and they just moved him. And this is it's a mess. They're trying to call it a constitutional crisis, but it's not. There's no crisis. Trump's got control over foreign policy. He had control over foreign policy. He'll continue to have control over foreign policy. And there's just not a whole lot to talk about here, right? So that's where we're going with this. The Democrats are willing to die on the hill of getting illegals into this country and keeping illegal gang members in this country. So I guess we'll see how that goes for them politically. I mean, it's just insanity to me. So real quick, a couple other updates. We're up to 245% tariff on Chinese imports. So I don't know. That's I think that qualifies as a trade war. We'll see what happens. This kind of see who blinks first. I don't think Trump's going to blink on this. I think he's pretty resolved. DOJ is suing Maine because Maine is letting men play in women's sports, risking the health and safety of our little girls because they don't care. Because I don't know, Maine's governor looks like a man or something. I don't know. She's just weird. The whole thing is weird. We've got the UK has decided at the same time. The UK is actually more sane than Maine. Think about that. How sad is that? UK Supreme Court ruled unanimously that girl is a girl and boy is a boy, and a boy who wants to pretend to be a girl or a girl who wants to pretend to be a boy, well, under their Equality Act, that doesn't work. So I guess boys are boys and girls are girls there, and too bad for the trans movement there. But I mean, who would have thought that we would have the UK getting to common sense before us? That's kind of a sad state of affairs right now. Although I do hear that we're working on the trade deal with the UK, and part of that, from what we're hearing, is that Vance is outright just telling them, listen, you're going to have to get rid of the censorship stuff you guys are doing, or we're not doing a deal with you. And I hope that is foundational, because the censorship stuff is a disaster and has to be gone forever. So anyways, lots happening, folks. Big news, big things happen in this country. Make sure you're tuning in. Make sure you're hitting share. Support us at TomRenz.com. That's www.tomrenz.com and getsendgo.com/RenzLaw.